Hello friends. It has been a very chaotic month and a half. I am back. First of all, I am back in my fabulous home of Sofia, Bulgaria after a little over a month of traveling China, Dubai. It was incredible, but a lot has happened, and in today's video I'm going to give you guys, a bit of a chit-chatty life update as I show you around one of my favorite places here in Sofia, which is South Park. We're actually not in the main part just yet. We will get there, but I wanted to give you a very important update first and foremost about my AdSense situation. So if you watched my past video where I had a bit of a mental breakdown about the fact that I had monetization temporarily turned off on my channel because of one of Google's technical errors, and then there has also been the very long delay of verifying my new address here in Bulgaria, which is something you have to do if you want to move your tax residency. So I applied to do that April 3rd, a couple of weeks before I left to China, because I wanted to get the process started as quickly as possible, since it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get the actual physical letter with a PIN code that you then input into your AdSense account. And I was hoping that if it came while I was on my trip, my lovely neighbors who I told about it would be able to get it for me and then give me the PIN code. Unfortunately, as I was on the trip, I did not hear from them, so I assumed it didn't come, but I was hesitant to order a new one, because if you do that, the first one becomes invalid, and then the whole process starts all over again with the long wait for the next PIN code. Something deep inside told me to wait until I got back so I could thoroughly check, all the areas of our apartment building to make sure it didn't get lodged somewhere, or sometimes they do leave it at the main post office. So something inside of me told me to wait, and thank God it did. Literally, as soon as my plane lands here in Sofia and I open my phone from airplane mode, I have a message from my landlord saying, "Alina, your letter is here. Your neighbor said that you can just come over anytime and get it from them." Obviously, I am elated, the best news I could possibly get, but I was kind of confused and thinking like, well, wait, was this here, weeks earlier and they just didn't tell me because they knew I wasn't home yet? Like, I would have had way less stress if I would have known that it was already there. But I go over to their place and I ask them, like, when did this letter come? And they say, today. Today, the actual day that I decided to come home, the letter arrives a month and a half from the time that I ordered it. So that to me is the craziest coincidence, because more or less if I didn't go on this trip and I didn't have the exact dates that I chose, I would have more than likely ordered a second letter, making the first one invalid, and then bugs, I would have had to wait, basically another month minimum to get the second letter. And for those who didn't catch the first video, like, I'm basically not being paid by YouTube all in this time. Like, you have to verify your address before they release your funds. And they do say that if you don't verify your address in 4 months, they turn off the monetization on your channel, which is just crazy to me. So what I'm trying to say is, it is like a miracle from the heavens that literally on the day I got back, the letter was waiting for me. I input the code into AdSense. That part was done. And then right before I went on my trip, I had also started the process of opening a local bank account. Now that, Revolut unfortunately didn't work out for me, I am now a customer of UniCredit Bull Bank. And just a couple of days ago, I was able to receive my first payment from YouTube. So overall, things are good. at least in that department. Unfortunately, there has also been a lot of stressful things going on in my life, which I'll touch on maybe a little bit later in the video. But while I remember, another really cool thing that happened in the last couple of months is I got to be on Bulgarian television, guys. Like, so unexpected. Alina, you're half Canadian.
Алина, ти си със смесен канадско-руско-украински происход, а сега избра да живееш в България. Разкажи ни малко повече за себе си.
Yeah, so I was born in Kiev.
Да, аз съм родена в Украйна, но бях много малка, когато се преместихме в Канада. Майка ми се ожени за моят втори баща и отидахме да живеем в Канада. Много мъничко селце, почти в централната част на страната. А след това, когато станах на 18 години, започнах да живея, да кажем, доста ексцентричен живот. Започнах да пътувам навсякъде, живях доста дълго време в Токио и да кажем, че през последните 5 години живея категорично като номад до момента, до който се преместих тук в София.
I love how here in Sofia there's all these like random little public spaces that you will find, like a very large chessboard and another mini library and like places to sit in just, yeah, kind of residential neighborhoods. So this is my favorite park in all of Sofia. I'm sure it's many people's favorite just because it is so beautiful. This is Yuzhny Park, South Park in English, and it is just so gorgeous, so lush and green, and especially here in the summertime when they have the fountains going, people are coming here to run, to cycle. There's like children's playgrounds everywhere, and the deeper that you go into the park, it actually feels like you're in a forest. So if you're somebody like me who really needs nature, this is amazing for a city center. major thing that I definitely did get right with moving to Bulgaria is that after I have all of these, crazy travels, amazing adventures, it is so nice to come home to a place that feels quite peaceful. Like, even though obviously Sofia is the biggest city in Bulgaria, but to me it is pretty slow paced. Like, it is not that crazy, it is not that noisy, and I like that. For this period of my life when I'm doing all of these big travels, it's really nice to come home to a place that you feel you can really relax in. You don't have that much to worry about. It's quite safe. I'm definitely going to do a more in-depth video about some of my first impressions of moving here to Sofia, but overall I feel very safe here in the city. Like, even last night I was more or less out past midnight. It's absolutely fine to walk downtown, so I really like that about living here. I really can't emphasize enough how grateful I am that I have a space like this fairly close to where I live. I find that if I'm coming all the way out here, it turns into like a 2-hour walk, but it is magical. And I have needed that. I have definitely needed to reconnect with nature after this crazy month and a half, because the negative parts that I haven't mentioned yet is I have had some personal stress with just some personal relationships going on, but second of all is my dad has been quite sick. Before I tell you the whole story, he is doing so much better. Like, thank God. He in the last week has made a pretty big recovery and is finally seen a doctor that took his situation seriously. But basically, for the past month, my dad was feeling really ill. He wasn't able to work, and initially we thought that it was just like a really bad cold and flu, because everybody at his work was also very sick, and we thought it would pass, but unfortunately it just kept getting worse and worse. And he did go to the doctor initially. He went to a few doctors. They also kind of wrote it off as like, oh, it's just a flu, you just have to wait it out. Then a second doctor that he saw ended up giving him an antibiotic, and I don't know if that actually helped or not, but long story short, what ended up being the case is that he had pneumonia. And unfortunately, it went on for a while before it was actually caught. So then what ended up happening is he had some fluid around his heart. So when you have something like that going on, you usually have a symptom of like shortness of breath. So, he was getting winded even going for a short walk. So obviously nobody likes to see their parents sick, but it's especially difficult when you are like hundreds of thousands of kilometers away and you're not able to just, go home quickly and take care of everything. And, my dad's a really stubborn guy. He wouldn't let me, come home just like that. He kept saying he was fine. So yeah, that was really difficult to deal with. All the while I did have so much work going on and so many things that I committed to. And if you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, you probably understand the difficulty of taking on enough work but not too much work. Because you never know when it's going to come along, right? Like, that's what I've really struggled with, is that sometimes you have these periods where things are really quiet, there's nothing going on, you're not making a lot of money, and then you have these periods where you get so many offers, so many opportunities, and you have a period where you're just working all the time, things are really intense, and that's where you make your money. So that's the period that I've been in, is I've gotten so many great opportunities, to work with some new brands and then some of my regular clients. And I have just had to really put my head down and, stay as on schedule as I can, because all of these things have to come out, in a particular order at a specific time. Damn mosquitoes. So yeah, on top of just dealing with personal stuff while traveling, while, editing 30-40 hours a week, it has been really, really intense. So if you guys can see the poster right in front, Chicago, the musical, the actual cast from New York's Broadway was here in Sofia last night, and I ended up going. And it was just so magical and so unexpected that, you know, a Broadway show from the US would be touring here in Bulgaria. I absolutely love Sofia in the summertime. It's quite a stark difference from when I moved here in like the dead of winter. It's very dreary, it's very overcast, whereas here in the summer everything is more bright, it's in bloom, and especially here in the city center, on the weekends they always have something going on here at NDK. I think this is going to be like a bit of a food market, so if you choose to come to Bulgaria, definitely do it in the summer months. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and that was my little life update before I head to Japan in literally a few days. One thing I will say as far as having a chaotic schedule is that this too shall pass. I do know that at some point in my life I will probably have a much more relaxed and much more chill, you know, and slow-paced life than the one I have now. So for the time being, I try and be really grateful for all of the opportunities that I'm given, even if they stress me out sometimes, because at the end of the day, we never know what's next. We never know when things will just suddenly change or go away. So when you get an opportunity, if it's a good opportunity, I say you should take it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. As always, thank you so much for all of your support. Keep being your own kind of beautiful. Bye, guys.